Hey, how's it going? It's Ziva and welcome to a new reading vlog. So I'm actually starting a little 24-hour readathon today, which I've been just so excited about. I've actually been planning to do a 24-hour readathon for a couple of weeks now. Like, it's definitely been a couple of weeks already, where every day I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do a 24-hour tomorrow, and then things honestly just kept coming up that had me like postponing the readathon every single day until today. Like, today just feels like the right time to actually start this little readathon. And yeah, I'm excited. So I'm gonna tell you about my reading plans. So I honestly picked my TBR for this readathon completely based on what I'm in the mood for right now. And I'm really in the mood to read some like fantasy romance, and I got a bunch of books. Like, I've actually started a bunch of fantasy romance books that I still haven't finished, so those are definitely gonna be a priority for the next 24 hours. But I might squeeze in some other books as well. Like, I'm kind of picky with my TBR right now because the last book that I finished was Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. So this is the book that I've actually already talked about in a previous reading vlog and about how much I loved it, which definitely has not changed. I only love it more ever since I finished it. This book, honestly, a new all-time favorite. It's joining all the like OG book series that really got me into reading and that made me fall in love with reading, like Cassandra Clare's Mortal Instruments and The Vampire Academy and the Morganville Vampires by what's the author? Is it like Kane something? Rachel Kane, I believe. Like, those books just made me realize how fun reading is, and this book reminded me of that, you know, just reading for the sake of reading. It was definitely something I needed this summer, so this was freaking amazing. It's also so well written. I love the main character, I love the side characters. If you're like intending to read this book, I definitely would highly recommend it. I don't think you're gonna regret it. So yeah, this book, A+. 10 stars if I could give it 10 stars. And the reason why I'm bringing up Legendborn is actually because this book that I've just finished like a couple of days ago set the standard for the next book pretty high. So I don't think whenever I'm gonna pick up next is really gonna measure up to my expectations for reading at the moment. And so I kind of have to be like careful what it is that I pick up. I actually started reading already. I have the book right here. As soon as it started like Legendborn, I started reading A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by L Armentrout, and this is just not the book to pick up after an amazing read like Legendborn, because the writing style, you know, it's worlds different. I feel like L Armentrout definitely has a writing style that's more fitting for like a contemporary novel, and she kind of uses this same writing style in this high fantasy world, and the two just don't really always match. I mean, read L Armentrout books for her characters. That's what literally every L Armentrout fan says. So yeah, definitely don't read this for the writing style or the world building. Read it for the characters. But yeah, so the characters are okay, you know. I'm okay with the characters, just the writing, like I said, doesn't really measure the expectations that Legendborn set. So yeah, that's one of the books that I'm currently reading, though. I'm already on page like 64, so I'm some way into the story. It's not very far, but I feel like I'm enough into the story to kind of get a feel of what this next book is gonna be about and where it's gonna go. So yeah, I am excited about it for sure. And then another couple that I've actually started already. Okay, the second book I actually have right here. So I have here These Violent Delights. I don't have the dust jacket. I'll make it. But yeah, so These Violent Delights. With this one, I still haven't finished it, guys. Like, it's almost embarrassing at this point. So with this book, I'm currently on page 190. I just reached a part of the story. Actually, I think I might continue this one during this readathon. It's kind of dirty, excuse that. But yeah, I actually reached the point in the story where a character got infected with this disease that I think is gonna have a really big impact on the story because of who the character is and what, you know, the character means to some other people. So I think it's gonna be really interesting to see the kind of panic that's gonna set into everybody now to find a cure for real. And now like the hunt for the monster and this weird plague is gonna begin for real. And I'm really excited to see how it's all gonna play out, you know. So yeah, really good. I'm really enjoying this story. So yeah, that's another contender for the readathon. And then another book that I've actually kind of started, but I don't think I'm in the mood for it, is the second book in the A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Brigid Kemmerer series. I don't remember the title, but I'm currently reading book 2. I'm not that far into it as well. And I think the reason why I keep putting that book off is that I'm smelling a love triangle, and I just am not in the mood for a love triangle at the moment. I just want to avoid it if possible. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna be the book for the readathon. So I do have some reinforcements as well. So another book that I haven't started yet, but I'm really in the mood for, is A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. The reason why I'm considering this book actually is because this is exactly what I'm in the mood for. It's a paranormal romance where we have all kinds of creatures like fairies and humans living together and stuff like that. And you know, it's an urban fantasy, so I'm actually thinking of picking this one up, but like, I don't really know. The font is tiny, which is like a personal pet peeve. Why make the font so tiny? Just like make the book 1,000 pages, but make it like a normal sized font. I don't care, just like, this is so... I think it just makes the book feel kind of slow because it takes so long to get through those like couple of pages so we can finally flip the page. You know what I mean? Does anybody else have issues with this, or is this like a me problem? I wouldn't know, but yeah, so these are some books that I'm considering. I'm definitely not 100% decided yet what I'm gonna read because I honestly can't decide. I'm also in the mood for like an adult fantasy romance. The one my mind keeps coming back to is actually Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. Like, that book just really intrigues me, especially since it's like a Hades and Persephone inspired story. It features those two characters. So it has mythology, it has romance, I think, possibly. I believe it has some kind of contest. So yeah, that's like a book that I've been meaning to read for a while now. So that's another possibility. I don't even know. Like, it completely depends what I'm gonna be in the mood for. And yeah, I'm gonna stop there. That's gonna be it. That's the long introduction to the possible TBR for this readathon. For right now, I'm definitely gonna start with like a 1 hour reading sprint, and I think the book that I'm gonna be reading for this first sprint is gonna be Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. Mainly because I actually am currently stuck in the middle of the chapter, so I wanna at least finish the chapter. And then decide if I'm gonna switch to another book. I'm definitely gonna try to prioritize reading the books that I've already started instead of, you know, starting more new books and then not finishing those either. I'm thinking maybe like when I finish a book that I've already started, I can then start a new one during this readathon. But I have to finish like at least one that I've already started. I think the best contestant for that would be These Violent Delights. So I think that's gonna be the next book that I focus on. But yeah, so I'm gonna start the timer now. I'm gonna start reading Kingdom of Flesh and Fire and then possibly switch to These Violent Delights. But I'm gonna let you know how it's gonna go, so... Okay, everybody, so the first 2 hours of the readathon are now done, and I was actually enjoying reading Kingdom of Flesh and Fire so much that I decided not to switch to another book. So I got up to page 108. I'm about to start chapter 8, and I am enjoying the story. When I actually first started the book, I was feeling a little bit annoyed because like the banter and the animosity between the two main characters just felt so childish. And like their dialogue just sounded like something that my 5-year-old niece would say in like the middle of a strong temper tantrum. So it was just, yeah, it was pretty childish, but it's definitely getting better now. So yeah, yeah, it was a funny thing. I know what I like about these stories, especially the side characters. Like, Kieran is a side character that I actually really enjoy, and he's definitely like the kind of like the funny side character who's there to bring attention. But I just love him so much, and especially him and Hawk's friendship, you know, they have like an interesting dynamic. I don't think we've learned enough about their like bond yet, so I would really love to explore that more. There's a lot that I still want to learn more about, you know. Did that sentence make sense? There is a lot about the world that I would still love to learn in more detail, especially about Atlanteans and the Wolven and whatever the heck is, you know, goes on with all these different species that exist. So yeah, I hope we get to explore it more. I don't expect much. I know I said it before, not much world building in these books, but still, you know, besides the romance, I would like to have the world fleshed out a little bit more. But yeah, the romance is definitely strong, so no complaining about that. So yeah, my plan for the rest of the night is I'm probably gonna read for another hour. And like I just got through about 40 pages in 2 hours, so I guess my average would be 20 pages in an hour. And that's because this book is also like cursed with a small font thing. And the funny thing is, like, this is like a 600-page book, but it's still a very small font. So it probably would get up to like 1,000 pages if they did like the normal size font. So yeah, it's definitely a case where you just like you have to read this for a while because before you get to flip the page. So you know, but this one isn't as annoying because it feels a lot more fast-paced than like some other small fonted books that I've read before. You know, it has a lot of dialogue and funny banter and stuff like that, and it's just like fun conversations, I guess, that it makes it feel much more fast-paced than how fast I'm probably reading. I was actually like with a normal sized font, I do get up to like 40 pages in an hour, or like between 30 and 40, but with like small font like that, it's only 20 in an hour. So yeah, there's a huge difference, and that's kind of why I prefer bigger fonted books, because the page count just goes by much faster. But yeah, that's just a personal preference. Honestly, it's like a motivation thing when you see like the pages flying by. If you're like paying attention to the page count, it just kind of feels better, you know, like you're reading so much and then you feel like reading even more. So yeah, okay, that's something to consider, but not the point. I don't know, I just started rambling and I don't know what I was going to say. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go and read for another hour. I'll let you know how it's going. Probably gonna update you in the morning though, not tonight anymore, because I just right now want to take a shower, then get into bed and read until I fall asleep. So that's the plan, and then wake up as soon as possible. So yeah. Hi, good morning. So I'm not gonna show you my morning zombie face. I just wanted to let you know I'm gonna do an early morning sprint, and I'm picking up these violent delights. So it feels kind of strange not showing my face, but yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go for an hour and I'm gonna let you know how much I read. Okay, excuse me, I'm getting kind of distracted by the lighting here. I feel like the lighting here is really good, but if I move toward the window, it gets really bad. See what I mean? Like, what is this lighting back here? Look at that complexion. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. But yeah, so I'm now entering the last part of the readathon, or like the last part. The last quarter of the readathon. I only have 6 hours left of reading, and I'm actually pretty happy with how my day is going so far. So I did hit like a few snags along the way. I actually had to run some errands this morning, which actually ended up taking the majority of the morning, but I was determined not to like forfeit the readathon. So I remembered that there's actually an audiobook which I haven't finished yet. I started it sometime in the beginning of July. Like I said, there's a lot of books that I've started but haven't finished yet, this being one of them. So I've been listening to the audiobook of The Bone Crier's Moon by, I believe the author is Kathryn Purdie, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not really sure who the author is, but it's like a young adult fantasy that I think was pretty popular when it first came out, and I've been intrigued about it, but having seen a lot of mixed reviews from other like booktubers and book lovers, I wasn't sure about it. So I started listening to the audiobook to kind of see how I would like it. And it was decent. It was a 3-star read for me. I kind of enjoyed the parts of the story that were like about the mythology of the Loress, and you know, them carrying souls to like the underworld, or you know, to the underworld for good souls. Heaven, I don't even know. I'm not sure what they call it in the book, but it's like, yeah, it's like that. So yeah, that part of the story was fine. The kind of part of the story I didn't really connect with was the romance. And that's kind of sad, because I feel like the romance is really like the essential part of the story. It's all about, you know, Loressa's journey, how she meets her soulmate and actually has to kill him on the night of the full moon in the ceremony to kind of gain her powers and become a Loress. So yeah, but the way the romance was written was just like, there's a certain way that you have to read like a soulmate story. I have read good soulmate stories before. The key is like in making them fall in love quickly, slowly, if that makes sense. Like with a soulmate storyline, obviously there's gonna be like love at first sight, but the key is to like write the love at first sight slowly, so like you can actually develop those feelings between the main characters and not just jump straight into like declarations of love or whatever. So yeah, you have to make it believable, and I don't think like this story really did that. I don't think the two main characters really had enough time to develop the romance properly, so I'm not sure how I think about it. Like even with all the revelations that came after, I just, yeah, you know, it's kind of hard to digest it and really believe it. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm giving the Bone Crier's Moon 3 stars. It is, however, the first book of the readathon that I finished, so I'm actually feeling pretty happy about it. That does give me permission to actually start any new books if I want to, which is the rule that I set for myself. But yeah, I am hoping to actually finish another book today. So my morning sprint this morning, I read These Violent Delights for an hour, was very successful. I actually managed to read like 40 pages in 1 hour. So this is obviously a book where like the bookmakers did a good job on making the font a normal size. Can we appreciate it? Like 40 pages in an hour. That's pretty good, I think. So yeah, and since then I've actually done a couple more sprints. So I'm now already on page like 269. So I have read 70 pages of this lovely book during the readathon. And the story is just getting so much more addictive. I love the first half of the story quite a lot actually, but now that I kind of reached like across the halfway point, I feel like the story is just getting even more intense. And just as I predicted, like that certain character that gets infected is just like a game changer. The pace of the hunt for the monster and whoever is controlling the monster is actually getting so much, you know, quicker. There's like this desperation that's driving the main characters now to find a cure so they can heal the character that got sick. So it's just it's so amazing, and I just have to admire Chloe Gong's like way of writing an enemies to lover story. It's just masterfully written. I love every single interaction between Juliet and Roma. Like their relationship is just so addictive. I'm loving it. And Chloe Gong is also really talented at building the world. Oh my god, one of my favorite things from this story is actually the way that Chloe Gong is writing Shanghai. You know, she really captures this city that is kind of split apart in different ways, between, you know, all the foreigners coming into the country and claiming the territory for themselves and trying to pull it away from the people who have lived there like for generations. And you have obviously like different foreigners from different countries going against each other as well, like the French, the Russian, the English. So I just love the way that Chloe Gong is writing about this rivalries inside the city, and especially from like Juliet's and Roma's perspective, who kind of feel like they are, you know, the original owners of the land, and these foreigners are coming and attacking their home, and that they have to protect it, you know, from these strangers. So yeah, it's just so amazing. Seriously, Chloe Gong just is so talented. Like I've said this from page one. From page one, it was obvious Chloe Gong has an absolutely amazing and beautiful writing style, and she just keeps proving that fact with every like new page that I read in this book. It is just it's really well written, and I love the characters, the side characters as well. There's a lot of side characters in here to love. So yeah, I can't wait to actually continue with this one. I think I have like about 150 pages left, which I think I can actually finish. So if I can read like 40 pages an hour from this book, I should be done in like about 3 hours, let's say 4 hours, because I do get distracted sometimes. So I should be able to finish this book in the next 3 to 4 hours, and then still have a couple of hours left to focus on some other books, which could possibly be Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, or I could possibly start another book I actually have. The one that I kind of really want to start is a Dark and Hollow Star. I don't know whether I have enough self-control to not start a new book, but we're gonna see. Time will tell. I do kind of have like, I've given myself permission to start a new book now that I actually finished one already, but if I finish the second book today, These Violent Delights, then I definitely am allowing myself to start another book if I'm gonna be in the mood for it. So yeah. we'll see. But for right now, I'm gonna go and do another sprint. Oh no, there's actually one more thing I have to do. So I actually posted recently on the discussion page on my YouTube channel that I won't be playing TB darts for August because I was sick and I just wouldn't have been able to like upload it in time to still make sense and to still have time to then read the book and stuff like that. So there's actually a solution that I thought of, which would be to just play TB darts in every single vlog separately. So I think that's what I'm actually gonna do. I'm not gonna play it in this vlog because I already have a lot of books that I'm trying to get through. But I'm possibly gonna do like a weekly reading vlog starting after this reading vlog, and I'm gonna play TB darts like for each vlog separately. I think that could be like a fun solution for how to do TB darts in August, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Play TB darts each week separately or each vlog separately and pick the books as I go. So yeah, that's the plan. That's kind of like the plan B that my brain decided to come up with. So yeah, thought I would explain that because I did promise I would explain it in my next vlog. So yeah. Okay, well, I just had some dinner and I haven't really made much progress in these Violent Delights. I actually think I got to the point of the readathon where I get like really sick of reading. It's like I kind of get bored of reading after so many hours, and all I really want to do right now is sit down and just like watch a TV show or something. So. But I really want to push through because I do want to finish these Violent Delights. So maybe like one episode of something. It's like 6 o'clock. I think I have about 3 hours left of the readathon, so if I watch like an episode, that will give me 2 more hours. I don't think I can finish the book in 2 more hours. I'm currently on page 287, so yeah, like not much progress at all. But I just am bored. You know what I mean. I don't know if this happens to other people as well, but this always happens when I do a 24-hour readathon. There's a point where I just cannot read anymore. So I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna go and just like change the reading scenery a little bit. I think I'm gonna go and read outside and see if that's gonna help. Like read outside on the swing for a while. And if that doesn't happen, then I don't think I'm gonna push it. Like I kind of reached my goal for today already. My goal today was just to read much more than what I've been reading so far this year, basically. Like part of the reason why I decided to start this 24-hour readathon was that I opened up my Goodreads page and saw, my Goodreads challenge. I have it set for 75 books for 2021. And it says that I'm like 25 or 27 books behind schedule. And I got so stressed when I saw that number, so I kind of wanted to do like a 24-hour readathon, just focus on reading, trying to finish some books that I've started, and I think it's been going great, but I think I've also kind of like reached my limit to how much I can read in 24 hours. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go and try and read outside. If that doesn't work, then I'm just gonna like wrap it up for the day. Yeah, I'm happy with how much I've read so far, so I don't think pushing it would really have any benefits, so don't want to do that to myself. But yeah, let's go outside. Okay everybody, so I'm now done with my readathon. I actually didn't really end up reading much after that last update, so I think I went for like another hour, maybe like an hour and a half, and I got up to page 334 during the readathon. But like I kept talking about finishing the Violent Delights during the 24-hour readathon. I actually decided not to wrap up this vlog before finishing it, so I'm now officially done with these Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I'm pretty sure it's been like what, 3 months? I think I started reading this in April and now I'm finally done. And the funny thing is I actually read the majority of the book in like 24 hours, so I guess all's good, but yeah, this book was just so freaking good. I honestly can't explain to you guys how intense the last 50 pages of the book were. I've never been more like anxious about the characters and their health and whether they were actually gonna survive. It was like that. It was such like a heart-racing kind of ending to the story, and we do have a bit of a cliffhangery ending, so it's definitely like a good build-up for the sequel. So I think there's gonna be another book. I believe this is gonna be a duology, and maybe the second book is even coming out in 2021, but I'm not quite sure about it. I'm actually gonna check later. But yeah, so this book, insanely amazing. I can't actually wait for the sequel to see how, you know, how this whole story is gonna be followed up, what the sequel is gonna be. I honestly, like, it's one of those stories where it's really hard to predict what the sequel is gonna bring, what's gonna go down next, whether like the situation at the end of book 2 is actually gonna be the way that the characters want it to be, or whether it's all gonna go to hell. Like, it's honestly so hard to tell. And yeah, I hope everything kind of resolves with the characters as well. I've just grown to care so much for the side characters. My favorites are definitely Marshall and Benedict. Like, their relationship is so beautiful. I love the kind of the bond that they have, and I can't wait to kind of learn more about it in the next book. So I love it so much. This is definitely a 5-star read. One of my favorite books that I picked up in 2021. Like, it's been absolutely crazy. And then for the Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, for this one, I only got up to page 128, so up to chapter 9. I haven't read further than that, but like, it's just enough to kind of get a taste for the story, and I actually can't wait to continue. I am happy that I at least like broke the 100-page mark, so I'm now 30 pages over that mark, and it's just getting really good, really intense. A lot of revelations, a lot of like, we're getting a lot of backstory on some characters, and it's just been really fun learning more about them. So yeah, if I kind of like pull it all together, the amount of pages that I read during the 24-hour readathon was so about 60 here, or like 65 you could say, and for this one I went from 190 to 330, so that's 140. So I read about 200 pages in 24 hours. It's not my record. Like, I've definitely done the 24-hour readathon before where I read, I think, like 400 pages or something, or like maybe 300 or something like that. So I didn't break my record, but I did also listen to about 3 hours of the audiobook of Bone Crier's Moon, so I guess I should count that as well. So yeah, like I said, I'm feeling pretty proud of myself for this readathon. I mean, my goal for the readathon wasn't really to like break my record for how much I can read in 24 hours. My goal was just to read a lot more than I've been reading all year. So I think I managed to do that. I'm feeling proud of myself. It actually made me excited to do more 24-hour readathons during this summer, so maybe I can squeeze in some more books, finish some more books. I definitely want to do one where I read adult fantasy romance, because that's also something I've been craving. Possibly even pick up, like I mentioned, Fortuna Swarm by KG Sutton, so possibly it could be coming up. But yeah, next up is gonna be like a weekly reading vlog where I'm actually also gonna explain where the hell I have been, why I've not been posting. I can kind of give you a sneak peek right now. Like, look what's happening here. Look at this nasty room. It's completely destroyed at the moment, and that's because I've been renovating. But like I said, more about that in the next video. I'm gonna explain what's happening and why I haven't been posting. So yeah, but for now this is gonna be it. I feel like that was so random. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for this readathon. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out the reading vlog. I really hope you enjoyed watching this process of me reading for about 24 hours. So yeah, I'm gonna do more for sure in the future. Until then, I hope you're doing well. I hope you are having a great day or night. Hopefully I'm gonna chat with you down in the comments, and until next time, bye.